As I said, Gabriel was struggling to relay a message. And because although he was giving an answer to Daniel, this answer involved other participants. And that's where the Prince of Persia came in. Because the Prince of Persia could not, nowhere in the Bible is it talking about how the Prince of Persia located the angel of Gabriel, the angel. In fact, it doesn't speak of anyone able to keep up with an angel. So how did the Prince of Persia come to this message? And why was he withstood? And why did he need Michael to help him? That is because of duty. You see, angels also have, they follow, there's instruction and then there's duty. The instruction is, go and tell Daniel, here's my answer. But their duty is to ensure that each task is done to its completion. Okay? Now this is about to get very interesting, because it got interesting for me. So, Gabriel was speaking to the Prince of Persia, letting them know this is the answer that Daniel would receive. However, this is your instruction to bring that answer to full fruition. What do I mean by this? It's as if telling someone you're throwing a surprise party for a friend. And the first thing is you allow one of your friends to basically how can I put this? You let one of your friends who are participating in the surprise, let the friend know who's going to be surprised that he should not. Let's say he was about to travel, and before he goes traveling, his dear friend wanted to throw him a surprise party as a farewell. Then he says to one of his friends to go and tell his friend. Okay, just keep up with me. Okay. He tells one of his friends to go and tell the friend who's going to be surprised, who the surprise is for. Tell him not to go anywhere yet, not to make any arrangements for travel yet. And while doing that, the one friend that goes to tell, who's on his way to go and tell the friend to not make any arrangements, he stops by all the other friends who are connected to this friend. So maybe family members, other friends, people who could possibly discourage what message the first friend is giving to the friend who's going to travel. Okay, just stay with me. I know it's confusing, but just stay with me. It's going to make sense in a minute. So, this friend who is going to travel, he receives the message, right? But the problem is, or rather, he does not receive the message yet, because there's a holdup. Because one of the friends that this other friend, I apologize for the confusion, but let's call it friend A. Here's friend C throwing a party for friend B. Friend A is the one who's going to relay the message. Friend A goes and first gives instruction or alert to all the other friends, okay, connected to friend B, okay, who's going to have the surprise. They withstand friend A, who is trying to let them know, don't encourage friend B to travel, because we're throwing a surprise party for him. We want him to be surprised, so that's why we're gonna arrange everything. So don't give him any reason to leave. Don't give him any motivation to leave. Just follow this instruction. Then, while friend A is explaining this to all the other friends and the family, one of the family members are not or doesn't fully understand, or doesn't really, says no, I want to do this, or basically he delays by having a longer conversation, or he's asking for more clarity, or he's asking for more, how can I put this? I hope you're understanding. But basically, he withstands him. And now friend A is delayed. So instead of being able to just go and tell friend B what friend C is planning, or to direct friend B to the plan of friend C. Oh my goodness. I think if you're keeping up, you're very attentive. But if you're not, I'll maybe do another video, and if you're interested, to just give more clarity to that. But the point is that the instruction and the plans of friend C, who's trying to throw the surprise party, is being delayed. So what friend C does, what friend B does, because he's delayed with a family member, okay, struggling to get across the instruction and the necessary message, he calls on friend Z, and he says, look, I need to get this message through to this person, and I can't find him anywhere, or he doesn't understand exactly. Why don't you stand in place? Why don't you explain it to him, and then I'll go and relay the message to friend B, the one who's going to travel. So this is kind of the same situation with Gabriel. Gabriel was not withstood, an angel of the Lord. Okay? He carries the victory of Jesus. They don't lose. They don't lose. Okay? It's not like, oh, there's measurements. No, they don't lose. So, the best way to put it is, this is God's army. They are under the authority and also the power of the Almighty, who never loses. Jesus never loses. Okay? So, the point I'm trying to make is that the withstanding, it's like a blessing that was delayed. Sometimes God can give someone an instruction. This might clarify it. Sometimes God can give someone an instruction to say, I want you to bless that person. And then the person who is capable of providing the blessing, he withstands that instruction and says, are you sure? And then he will pray for some time, or he will make certain he heard God's voice. Okay, this is built with relationship. But still, he's not hearkening unto what God instructed him. Because there's confusion, there's, all kinds of misinformation, if you will. So basically, then the person who was supposed to be blessed at a certain time does not get blessed. So instead of the instruction remaining, or the conversation remaining with the person who was spoken to, God then uses another. Okay? And by using another, the blessing is delayed. To God, it's right on time, but to us, it's delayed. Okay? And that's exactly what happened with Gabriel. It wasn't that he was fighting this entity who he couldn't overcome. He was there dealing with this situation out of responsibility. Okay, out of basically duty to always accomplish God's will. Because whatever God speaks never returns back void. So he was going to accomplish God's will, but because in order to accomplish God's will, he would have to delay the answer to Daniel. And instead of doing that, he called on Michael. Okay? Which means they know one another's names, they can call on one another. To stand in place of Gabriel, so that his duty, or rather, his duty would not be unfulfilled. Okay? Basically, he created a substitution moment, where he substituted himself for Michael, and then Michael, because why did he say to Daniel, after relaying the message, why did he say to Daniel, I have to return back to fight with the Prince of Persia? Could Michael, the strongest angel, not overcome the Prince of Persia? No. It's that the instruction was held up. The direction was held up. It's how can I put it? Because of free will. The Prince of Persia was not hearkening unto what the angel was speaking. Okay, and for whatever reason, he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to follow through, or he didn't understand it. There's various reasons. But the point is, it was not that they were defeated or that they were withstood because, the darkness is that powerful. No, the darkness cannot comprehend the light. And that's for a reason. They don't even know they're weaker. That should be pretty obvious. Okay? God already overcame the world. He already overcame everything. He's not God just because of the fact that that's just the title. He's God on every level. Any level you challenge him on, he is absolutely supreme. So sometimes your blessing or the message God gives you can be delayed by somebody else not being obedient to the will of God. And that is sometimes what can get us on the wrong side, I would say, or kindle God's anger. Because just like someone else who is pleading to God, pleading to Jesus, to provide an answer, to provide sustenance, to provide undertaking, to provide healing, there's a word that someone else carries, or an instruction that someone else carries, and they don't hearken unto it. And that delays not only somebody else's blessing, but it also creates a delay in your blessing. if you're the one getting the instruction. Because that's the reason why God says, seek ye first the kingdom, and all these other things will be added. So it's very important. There was something that I personally really wanted today, and I truly believe this, is that when I went for it first, I didn't get it. And this is what I believe I didn't get it because I put my needs before God's wants, or rather need. And what I mean by this is God gave me an instruction, I didn't hearken unto it, and because of that, I was not able to receive what I was looking to receive. So it's very important for us to be obedient. And the way you clarify that obedience is if you're able and you're capable of fulfilling the instruction, then do it. If it is no major cost to you, because God would not call you to something that would cost you everything, even though He would. He can. Let's put it that way. But even the woman with the oil, she had only the oil left. And when God came to her, He came to her through Elijah and gave her a crazy instruction to give her last. But the amazing thing of this is at this very moment that she was instructed to give her last, she was of a mindset that understood and was conscious of God. So God will not ask you something that your mind is not prepared for. He will first prepare your mind. And when He prepares your mind, that thing that to everyone else looks completely crazy to do, crazy to follow, you would be more willing to do it. So the point I'm trying to bring across is to not delay anyone's blessing. If God has given you an instruction to be of blessing to someone, then hearken. Because all you're doing is delaying someone else's blessing, but you're also delaying yours. And then it creates a chain reaction. But I also want to bring clarity that the angels are not, there is not a, how can I put it, the angels are dying in a battle kind of situation. They're not. These angels do not die, even the fallen. They do not. And that's for the reason for that is because God, it is not His will. If it's His will, only God, which He says in His word, He says, do not fear those who can kill the body, but fear He who can kill the body and the spirit. So if it's not in His will for His angels to pass or to be out of existence, it will not be. So they were not weak. They were not fighting a dark entity. They were actually withstanding the situation out of duty. I hope that I brought that across clear enough. But it's very important to seek God first in all that we do, because we made the decision and we made the promise, we made the covenant that we would deny our flesh, because if those cannot deny their flesh or their family is not worthy, this is not only for their benefit but also for your benefit. Because if you deny your flesh, you can think clearer. You can trust more. And this is not an easy thing. This is a practice. This is literally a muscle. Faith is a muscle that needs to be exercised consistently. So, I hope that I've brought a little bit of clarity to that passage. And a newfound revelation to it as well. It's important to not create a sense of hope deferred, because that's a lot of that is going around. And it's one of the major, I would say, weapons of the enemy. It is important to seek God first. It is important to put your hands to what you're trying to accomplish, but also to make sure that your work is to the glory of God. Thank you very much for listening. If you have not accepted Christ into your heart, I advise that you do. As Daniel, who prayed a prayer and received an answer, your situation might be similar, or it might not be. But God listens to those He chooses. And often it's the ones who least expect to be listened to that God is listening very attentively to. So don't underestimate your prayers. Don't underestimate your word. Even Jesus understood how powerful prayer is. He did it all the time in various verses. And he went through quite a few damaging situations. But he kept on going for us. And what he did was greater than what even is described in today, because it's not fully comprehended yet. We're not fully conscious of what Jesus actually did. But someday we'll be. Someday that revelation will come. So if you want Jesus into your heart, if you listen this far, then of course, then there's no denying your actions. You want to know Jesus, and you want to know Him more. So, if you haven't already, ask Him into your heart. Ask Him to come and sup with you, to enjoy a meal, a banquet. Ask Him to forgive your sins, repent unto Him, which means change your mind, not only in thoughts, not only in words, but in your actions. Don't let your actions lead you back to what, to the vomit you walked away from. Because that's what our flesh can lead us to. It can lead us to situations that is like a dog returning to his vomit. And finally,